Fitzgerald turned Zelda Sayre into from the beginning, a resource. And here is where it gets cold, calculated. Here is where you see this was not confusion. It was a system. Some of her short stories were published under his name, and in others, publishers added his name to a joint byline to increase sales. Her stories, her work, his name on the cover, because his name sold more copies. Because it was 1922, and a woman's name on a story was worth less money than a man's. Scott knew this. He used it. And when Zelda finally called him out publicly, when she reviewed his second novel in the New York Tribune in 1922 and told the world that she recognized passages from a diary that had mysteriously vanished after their wedding, what happened? People laughed. They thought it was charming, a playful marital joke from the glamorous Fitzgeralds. Nobody took her seriously. That was the point. Then she wrote her own novel. That is when the mask came off. In 1932, while being treated at a psychiatric clinic at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore, Zelda wrote a full-length novel in 6 weeks, Save Me the Waltz. Her life, her words, her story. She sent it directly to Scott's publisher at Scribner's, bypassing Scott entirely. He erupted. He had been planning to use the same autobiographical material for his own novel, Tender is the Night. He forced Zelda to edit out what he wanted to use from her book. He forced her to cut her own memories from her own novel so he could use them in his. And her gutted, diminished novel went out into the world and failed. Of course it failed. He had already taken the strongest material. Then Scott called her a third-rate writer. He called her work plagiarism. He called her a plagiarist. 4 years later, in 1936, he committed her to a psychiatric hospital in the mountains of North Carolina and drove back to his literary life. This was not a husband at his wit's end. This was a man eliminating a competitor. To understand what Scott destroyed, you have to feel who Zelda was before he got to work on her. Picture Montgomery, Alabama, 1915. Zelda Sayre is 15 years old. It is summer, and the heat sits on that city like a hand pressed flat against your face. She is dancing. She has been dancing since she could walk. Ballet, tap, anything with music. The dancing masters in Montgomery are already talking about her. She has something beyond technique. She has the quality that cannot be taught. She makes people stop what they are doing and watch. She flaunts a flesh-colored bathing suit to give the illusion of swimming in the nude. She rides with boys in open cars at speeds that terrify their parents. She stays out past midnight. She is, in the language of Montgomery's proper society, a scandal. And she knows it. And she has decided she does not care. Her father, Anthony Sayre, is a justice on the Alabama Supreme Court. Her uncle, John Morgan, served 6 terms in the United States Senate, and her maternal grandfather, Willis Machen, served a partial term as a U.S. Senator from Kentucky. The Sayre name means something in that city, and Zelda is dragging it gleefully through every muddy field and pool hall she can find. She is not broken. She is not sick. She is a force of nature the world around her has no category for. She is exactly the kind of woman certain men spend their